Is San Francisco 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy a franchise quarterback? I don't know. We're going to get into the tape right now and break it all down. Let's take a look and see if Brock has what it takes. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. What is going down, SDS? Good to see the squad hopping in here. We're going to do, again, we started doing film breakdowns last week. We did the breakdown on Sam Darnold. And because the conversation around Sam Darnold was just really picking up, just a lot of talk about Sam Darnold. So we said, all right, let's do the tape. And so we did the tape on Sam Darnold. Then naturally, the next up was Trey Lance. We did the Trey Lance film breakdown. Then the conversation switched to Trey after all the stuff from the Matt Barrows article came out. And what would you know? Wouldn't you know? The conversation has now switched to Brock Purdy. You have a lot of discourse going back and forth on 49er social media between content creators about Brock Purdy. Whether he has the arm strength, whether he's capable of being a franchise quarterback, all those different things. So obviously the San Francisco 49ers quarterback position is probably the most scrutinized position in all of sports. And we are going to continue to kind of just let the tape speak for itself. We're just at just like we've done with Sam Darnold, Trey Lance, and we're just going to let the tape roll, and we're going to let the tape speak to us. I know when you get into these types of conversations, there's numbers that are getting pulled. You're comparing stats. You're doing all these different types of things, which I totally understand. But as I've expressed to you guys on multiple occasions, I'm a visual guy. I just like to watch the tape and let the tape do the talking, and then determine my particular opinions off the tape that I watch. You can always and definitely should, supplement, stats and things like that to help kind of quantify. But at the end of the day, man, like, we're just going to watch the tape. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to watch Brock Purdy tape. And it fell perfectly in line, kind of with where we were already headed. It's funny how everything just like we started with Sam Darnold. It was perfect because everyone was talking about Sam. Then we just did Trey naturally. And then that very next day, that whole thing about Trey Lance and his improved mechanics and working with Patrick Mahomes, that came out. And that aligns pretty well with kind of our film breakdown on Trey. And then over the weekend and what have you, it's turned into the Brock Purdy. It's Brock Purdy's turn to get dissected. So perfect timing. We're gonna watch Brock Purdy, and we're gonna see what Brock is cooking. So I'm gonna kind of do this in succession with Brock, because obviously we got OTAs starting today. So it's not open to the media. So I'm not sure what kind of coverage is going to be coming out of Levi Stadium today. I haven't seen anything from a press conference standpoint. So I don't think anything's going to happen in that regard. So even though OTAs are starting today, it doesn't seem like we're going to get anything a whole lot outside of what the 49ers put out about OTAs. So we're just going to keep rolling. And we have a long ways to go before we get training camp going. And so up until that point, what we're going to do is we're just going to hop into the tape. We're just going to start breaking things down. We're going to let the tape speak to us. And so it's basically going to be a series. So if you weren't a part of the Sam Darnold, or you weren't a part of the Trey film breakdown, and you're just joining us for the Brock, we're going to keep this going. I'm going to bounce back between all these guys. I found the Texans tape. So we'll be able to watch the Texans tape with Trey Lance. We'll be able to break that down. So I got it. Remember, I told you last week we did Bears because I couldn't find it. I found it. We got it. So the next one I want to do is I want to do Trey Lance versus the Texans. This is the 2021 game. I think it was week 17, must-win game to get into the playoffs. Trey Lance has to come in. Jimmy Garoppolo's hurt. So that's going to be the next one after this. And then we might even bounce back into Sam Darnold if people still want to kind of get some kind of work through Sam Darnold's tape. But I'll leave that up to you guys, what you guys want to do. So we're going to just keep going through ongoing series throughout the summer. We're going to hop back into the tape. We're going to let the tape speak for itself because at this particular point, like the conversation around the quarterback, it's just you got talking heads. Of course, content creators are going to talk about the quarterback. It really is one of the biggest topics in the entire NFL because you look at the San Francisco 49ers, they have one of the probably the most stacked roster in the NFL, but there's so many questions at quarterback. So rather than just talking about other people's opinion, like we keep discussing, we're just going to watch the tape and we're going to let the tape do what it does best. And just like Kyle Shanahan says, when he's going to make the decision on who's going to be the starting quarterback, it's the silent film that is going to tell him who's going to be the starter. And so that was one of the things that we took away from that event is basically Kyle is going to let these quarterbacks battle it out. And the guys that are who he's not basically the way he framed it was he's not deciding who's going to be the quarterback one. These guys are Trey Lance, Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy. All of them are going to have opportunities, and it's up to them to put it together and prove to Kyle who the starter is. So that's the best thing that you want to hear in this type of situation where you have three quarterbacks and you obviously Brock is as we already know, the clubhouse leader. Probably if Brock doesn't have the UCL situation, he's the starter locked in. But with everything the way it is and the variables that exist, I really do think that we're heading into a training camp where we do have a full-blown three-headed quarterback battle. And as a result, it's going to start in OTAs with Trey Lance, and it's going to start with Sam Darnold. Kyle's going to be able to start pulling these traits from both these guys, how they've improved, where they need more work, and that's going to dictate who's going to probably get that leg up in training camp. So that's what's going to be interesting from all that stuff. So as you know, I've just been letting the tape roll because Jimmy started this game. It wasn't Brock Purdy that started this game. Obviously, Jimmy was the second string quarterback heading into this year. And so we're already on second string. Brock Purdy was third string. He beat out Nate Sudfeld in training camp. Some are saying, why are we watching Jimmy? Well, Jimmy gets hurt pretty early into this, and I'm just kind of setting it up so we can kind of, again, we're just watching the tape. We're letting the tape speak to us. And the big part of Brock Purdy's origin story is he got thrown into the fire. He got thrown into this. He's on the sideline. The only game that Brock Purdy has stepped foot in an NFL game was the Chiefs game when it was a blowout already, and he had a drive at the end of the game, and that's all it was. And this was the final play of Jimmy Garoppolo's career, but it was basically the jumping off point for Brock Purdy because, as we know, Jimmy breaks his, I think it was his foot on this play. They land on it, gets crunched, and that is the last play that we saw of Jimmy Garoppolo. And the reason why we're just letting it roll is because now this is Brock Purdy's first like real op. Like I don't count the Chiefs game because that game was over. It was done. It was garbage time. This is the like first drive of the game or like the second drive of the game. The game just started and they're going up against a really good defense. The Miami Dolphins have great talent on that defense. They got good defensive line, they got good edge rushers, they got good safeties, they got good cornerbacks, and they have a good plan. So this was a real test for Brock Purdy in his first real playing time. Brock Purdy got thrown into like we were talking about this. This was a highly anticipated game. It was like a must-win game. Like this is the way we're viewing it. We are viewing this as, the Miami Dolphins were on a bit of a hot streak at this particular time. And so they had a lot of hype coming into this game. And it was a great measuring stick game because you had Mike McDaniel, and we know how Mike McDaniel's a good coach. I know he'd go through some things last year with the Tua concussion stuff, but I really do think he's a good coach. But I think like this is like a perfect example of what they were trying to do. They were really trying to put a ton of pressure on Brock Purdy. I mean, you can see they brought 5 on this particular one, and Brock Purdy does a good job of being able to identify pre-snap. And Ayuk, or not Ayuk, it is Christian McCaffrey. Let's see what Christian does. Christian is basically stacked with Ayuk to the bottom of the screen. Looks like a little whip route. And for a rookie, really getting his first throw on time, on point, and we get a completion. First down. That's a third down, by the way. So already high pressure situation, no threat of run, empty set, whip route to the bottom of the screen, man coverage. CMC beats his guy, gets it outside the numbers towards the sideline, only where CMC can get it. All right, it's a good start. And I was in the stadium for this game. So, like, it really didn't hit me of like how well Brock had played in this particular game until I got into the tape and we started to really break it down. Um, but when you start to get into this thing, man, Brock isn't perfect. He definitely had some mistakes. I think he threw an interception. So again, Brock's not perfect. You don't expect Mr. Irrelevant to come in thrown into the fire against a pretty solid defense that is throwing everything they can at you to just come out and play lights out. So we're trying to evaluate in the context in which it is. Like right here, you're going to get him with a play action. You're going to get a naked boot, essentially. You're going to have a defender barreling down on him. He's trying to throw off his back foot. Sails a little bit. All right. He knows he missed it. You see the hand clap. Yep. He knows he missed it. All right. Settle in there. Settle in there, Brocky. Settle in. It's all good. Right read. Right idea. You got Big 92. I think that's Christian Wilkins, too, by the way. I think that's one of their best defensive linemen. He gets rocked, sails it. Okay. I think that's like a what? Second pass attempt of the game. So, all right. Settle in, Rook. Settle in. Nerves are probably through the roof. And I know you guys remember like the backstory here, right? I think his dad is a Dolphins fan. His favorite quarterback was Dan Marino. He wears 13 for Dan Marino. Dan Marino is in the stadium. Dan Marino is literally here. So this one, like you could definitely lead Debo, I think, a little bit more, but you also, I would say, you get a little bit of a PI. You can see the way I think that's X. Xavier Howard is just fighting through contact. He gets there way too early. You could probably put this more on the hash, maybe outside the hash mark. That gives Debo a better shot to run onto it. But I like the decision to let that thing rip. And again, typically, rookies getting their first opportunities Are they really going to let that thing go? Probably not. But let's see. That's a shot downfield. You can see you got Jordan Mason leak out. Ayuk, decent coverage. Kittle kind of looks like the primary here. It looks like they are trying to leak Kittle out. 28 is got eyes. He's ready for it. They've got basically three on Kittle. You got one for the top, one for the outside, one guy who can play underneath. And you get one-on-one matchup with Debo versus X. I like the thought process. I like the throw. I don't mind it. Can I nitpick it? Of course I can nitpick it. Of course I can nitpick it. But I would say that's not his from again, I don't think he's going to stare down Kittle. It looks like he goes Ayuk first, kind of maybe reads Ayuk, Kittle, Debo. It's not a terrible throw. It's really not. You can nitpick it, say you got to get it out a little bit further ahead of the hash, but that should have been a penalty nonetheless. All right, this one I remember was scary watching in real time. We got a penalty out of it, which was good. They're going to move the pocket. They're going to get Purdy on the move, which is something that he can do. So you can see they're going to move the pocket. You definitely don't want to go across your body, especially in this type of situation. From my understanding of how quarterbacks are coached, they don't want you throwing back across the field. That's how interceptions happen. But still, almost gets it into a good spot where IU can get it, but they do finally call the penalty here because 28 gets there a little early. You can see IU goes up, contact is created, ball hasn't arrived yet, so we get the penalty. Let's see what we think he was trying to go for. So I don't know if he's going for Kittle. It looks like Jawan could have a step, but I don't know if he just wasn't feeling it. If he was expecting X to, jump the route because X is a phenomenal corner. And that is something that you got to worry about with those throws to the sideline is that X could totally undercut that and pick that to the house. And then you kind of get Ayuk break free, go cut back against the grain. You even see Purdy call him out. He said he points him out that way. I think if Ayuk broke this and didn't sit and just jetted out, you probably have a better opportunity to complete that pass. But still, he got it there. Created a penalty. Okay. Not the greatest thing we've ever seen. I've seen worse throws across the body. Definitely seen worse throws across the body. All right, we're gonna get some orbit motion, just a handoff to CMC. Let the boys cook. Look at that. Ooh. Oh, if Trent can get off this double a step sooner, and I get why he stayed, but if he's a step sooner, gets that linebacker, and you get one-on-one with CMC and Javon Holland, that's damn near a touchdown. Close. Close. All right. I'm so excited for CMC to get a full year in this offense, man. I'm very excited about that. I really am. All right, I think I think we're coming up on Brock Purdy's first touchdown, and this is just shout out Kyle, right? Shout out Kyle. This is a Kyle touchdown. This is Kyle Shanahan touchdown. This is just scheming it up. Understanding that this defense isn't respecting Kyle Juszczyk as a receiving threat, and so they're just going to run him out into the flat. I mean, great job by Brandon Ayuk. What is Brandon Ayuk doing? Blocking, creating space for his fullback. I mean, literally zero respect for Kyle Juszczyk. And what does Brock do though? What Brock does well is execute the play action, flip hips, and just quick on a dart, on a line. We talked about this with I think Sam Darnold. We talked about this with Trey Lance. Again, people don't give a ton of credit to short throws, but I mean, you got to get these short throws have to be on a line. They got to be between the numbers and they got to be fast. Like you got to get this thing out quick because in the NFL, these defenders close ground like it's not even believable. They are so fast at eating up space. So when we got a short throw like this, and again, they didn't respect Juszczyk, so he was open to begin with. But I mean, you got to sling this, flip those hips, sling it. Someone said nice dink. That's a nice little dink and dunk. I'll call that one a dunk because he dunked on him on that one. Hey, respect Juice, man. Respect Juice. Because that will happen. Juice will get you. Juice will get you. And again, these were the things that we kind of identified with Trey against the Bears. And again, the Bears, I put an asterisk on that game. You can evaluate it, but I still put an asterisk on it just because the conditions were crazy. So there's always going to be an impact there. But this is where, it almost Purdy gets like a hit on this or like some perceive it as like almost as if it's a negative that he can complete high percentage throws with a ton of velocity and accuracy. Um, and in Kyle's scheme, that's predicated on play action. It's predicated on getting that ball out fast, first read and out. I'll take that all day. Take that all day, baby. All right, so we're seeing Purdy kind of settle in, right? Thrown into the fire, first real action, trying to see him settle in a little bit and just operate the offense. And we're just going to continue to see. So, and as you remember, the 49ers, Brock came in and they were down 7-0, right? Because you had the Trent Sherfield opening 75-yard touchdown. So Trent Sherfield, former 49er, scores on the very first play. Dolphins go up 7-0. Jimmy gets hurt on the first drive. They kick a field goal. So it's 7-3. Brock Purdy just leads them down the field 10-7. Okay. So Brock Purdy comes in against the Dolphins, leads the offense to a score. And again, in perfect Kyle Shanahan form, just a lot of run, a lot of play action, things like that. But we don't get much here, right? So again, I'm really not trying to focus a whole lot on the run game because that's where I love to live. I love to live in the trenches in the blocking game, but I'm really trying to focus here on Brock Purdy and what Brock is doing and what he's able to do in his first real action against the Dolphins. Okay, so we get a little slant to Ayuk. What does the coverage look like? Again, I'm not a coverage guy, so I can misspeak on how I'm trying to identify coverage. It appears to be single high at the start, but they roll the opposite side safety back. So is this like cover two? Kind of looks like cover two. They rush four with a delayed fifth, but that allows them to get this kind of off coverage to the underneath. And I'd say my critique here, you probably get the ball out on his upfield shoulder. You could make the argument if you get it on the upfield shoulder, you're kind of running him into that linebacker. Maybe it was designed to try to get Ayuk to spin around. Again, these quarterbacks are so deadly accurate in the NFL that you kind of have to look at it that way. Is like, okay, was he trying to throw back shoulder, or was that just kind of the outcome of the throw? But nonetheless, still a dart. Still a dart. Good catch by Ayuk. Still a dart. Good catch by Ayuk. I like the read. Even with Banks gets hit with a swim. Great swim move by Christian Wilkins right there. So he sees that. He knows he doesn't have time. And just whoop, little whip. I'll take it. I'll take a little whip. A little whip from Mr. Irrelevant. I'll take that all day. I'll take that all day. And I think again, what Brock Purdy just really proved that he could do right away is he could operate the offense. Like what do we talk about with Kyle's scheme all the time? Like it's prefaced in two different ways. Like we say it's quarterback friendly. While it's quarterback friendly, but it is complex. It is not easy. Like nothing about what Kyle is running over there is easy. Like it might put quarterbacks in positions to be successful. But again, we're talking about a rookie. We're talking about a guy getting his first like real action. And I wouldn't say that's easy. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't say that a rookie coming in having to learn the system and, with all the pre-snap motions, everything that you have to read pre-snap, then you have to read post-snap while not losing any time because Kyle's scheme is predicated on timing. I mean, look at the amount of motions. You get like a trips bunch right formation with Juice, Debo, and Kittle. You got gun left. Then you have this like old school like pistol formation. Then you motion CMC to where Juice just was. And then it's like counter. It's like a counter play where you get Brunskill pull, you get Juice pull, and you hand it off to Debo. Not much of a gain, but again, there's a lot of processing that it takes to be able to make sure everyone's in the right spot, the timing's in the rights at the right moment in which you're doing everything. Kyle runs a quarterback friendly scheme, but that thing ain't easy, baby. It ain't easy to operate. All right, we're gonna get empty set here, and this is where I think Purdy started to settle in right here. This is where, from my memory of watching this back in real time, what this was week 13, so December 4th. So early December last year, this is where I remember watching this and being like, all right, Brock looks comfortable out here. Like I'm not seeing a rookie in that particular sense. And the reason why, again, this isn't a huge shot downfield. What you're looking at is his eyes. You're looking at how he processes. You're looking at the comfortability. You even get a little pump. The pump, and we're going to talk about the pump because watch number two react to Brock's eyes and watch him react to the way he's moving through his reads. Because Brock doesn't immediately go to where he wants with it, it holds two. It holds two in that spot. And what does Brock do? Throws right underneath. He's got a passing lane and just rips it right in there. And when you look at this angle, watch the deep defender react to the pump fake. Watch him. Oh, you see that? So the pump. Watch the corner react to the pump. It pulled both of these defenders kind of out of position. The pump is actually what really pulls Juice open because you can still see it's a bang bang play. The ball gets there and the cornerback is on him. But in big part of why this was able to be successful, because he's able to hold two in the middle of the field. The pump pulls the cornerback off a step, and that step is the difference that gets this to be completed. So this is what I am looking for in a quarterback. When I was watching this back in December, I was freaking out because I'm like, I've watched so much Jimmy Garoppolo tape that like I don't want to admit how much I've watched, but I don't recall Jimmy doing these things. Jimmy, I think, has a better arm than Brock because Jimmy could really flick it. Like he could get that thing out in a hurry and on a line. But Jimmy just like I think he relied on okay, they're open, throw it. They're open, throw it. Like I see this as Brock creating this window for Juice to get it done. Um, so you get a 3rd and 5 here. Okay. So there's probably likely another passing situation for Brock Purdy. And again, this is where I was starting to be like, okay, yes, was this a super crazy throw? No, it wasn't at all. But the process to get this completed was extremely impressive for me. For me personally, I was very impressed by this. He was able to hold the entire defense with his eyes. To me, for a guy who's Mr. Irrelevant coming into this game, that's where I was like, okay, I think we got something here. So 3rd and 5, more pre-snap motion. Look at the defense right here. Look at what Purdy's processing. Basically, I'm gonna call so because he's inside of Kittle, I'm gonna call it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm gonna call that 7 on the line of scrimmage against 6. You got 5 offensive linemen. You can keep McCaffrey in as part of your protection. So it's basically you're outnumbered here. So he's got to be able to diagnose this and understand where the pressure is coming from. So this one is obviously a designed it's not a wide receiver screen necessarily. It kind of is. It's like low key because you're going to get these guys out in front blocking. But I'm not sure who this is. It's just I think that's better coverage than anything else. But this is where they start to test Purdy with getting these free rushers because they bring numbers. Okay, good play by the defense. Break it up. And that would be a punt, right? So 3rd and 5, that would be a punt. Okay, weren't able to keep it going. So we got to reset the drive. JP Mason is in. Is JP Mason going to challenge for RB2 this year? with the healthy Elijah Mitchell. It's going to be interesting. Ooh. Okay, so this play, we have a nice throw to the sideline. That was very accurate. That was on point. Nice and easy. First down. That looks like a 15-yard completion. Ball probably traveled 20 plus yards. Plus right to the sideline. Okay, not bad. Let's watch the eyes. How does he process this? You get play action. Eyes stay in the middle of the field. Get another pump. Look at the pump and how it affects that D lineman, though. One of the things with Brock that I think is really impressive is how he creates his own throwing lanes. Because I remember when we did this film breakdown, we talked about this. We talked about how Brock was constantly getting the ball over defenders with the thinnest of margins. And the first couple times we're like, okay, that will happen, right? Because it's a game of inches and you'll be able to sneak a couple by the guys. But after like getting through like half of this, we were like, yo, this is intentional. Like you can see how his shoulder raises. He goes way over the top with this throw. He gets it over Wilkins after pumping, getting the pump fake, get him in the air, reset, throw, dime. So again, one of the things that I think that impresses me about Brock is his process. Like, is this throw like ultra impressive? I mean, it's a accurate throw, it's tight spiral, it's on the money, it's super catchable. Is it ultra impressive like a 50-yard bomb down the field? Probably not, but the process to me is impressive. The process of what a rookie is doing in his first game, I think, is what impressed me the most. Oh, JP, beautiful cut. Oh, it's one of I love this run. Great block by Brendel. Great better cut by JP Mason. Beautiful. I'm excited for JP next year, man. JP got that dog in him. Whoo! Mini Marshawn, baby. Super hyped for JP heading into year 2. Okay, we got a sack. We've got rushing 4. So you got coverage, but you got Banks be on a stunt. So left side collapse a little bit because you're going to get Christian Wilkins driving upfield. They're going to stunt. I think that's Anzalone. Is that who 43 is? They're going to bring 43 around. Like right here, you see Banks's base and his feet and his arm placement. Like that is not where you want to be when you got a looper coming around. So because of that, he isn't able. You want his head on the upfield kind of shoulder on the other side, and it just really kind of collapses everything. So I think that's just it was a boys got beat up front. It happens. But it creates a 3rd and 10. And they go empty set. Okay, let's look at the line of scrimmage. They bring CMC back in. They motion. Who's that? That's McLeod to the left. Trips left. Bunch. Gun right. And so look at the line of scrimmage again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, did I count that right? I did. 6. 6 on 5. You can keep in CMC for protection. But what happens here is you get a free rusher. Javon Holland, one of the best young safeties in this league. This play, I remember, was like, wow. I was like, "Wait, hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right." Because I'm like, this is Mr. Relevant. This is the guy that every single team passed on till the very end. In the last pick of the draft, the San Francisco 49ers took this guy. Again, the process here, because what the Dolphins were doing is they were able to understand where the 49ers were sliding protection. And where they were sliding protection to, they were getting numbers, which means they were getting backside numbers where it was 3 versus 4. So you can see how 92, 98 drop out. So they're only rushing 5, but because they're basically 4 stacked to the left of the center and they're sliding protection to their right, it creates numbers. Like, you could not ask for a better blitz design than what the Dolphins just did here. Like, when you're talking about defensive coordinator, that's a DC win here. Like, to be able to scheme up Javon on the left side to come off, whoo! But this is where I really like started to freak out about Brock a little bit. You get a low snap, right? So he's got to pull his eyes off the defense for a second because he's got to make sure he gets this low snap. Look at where his eyes are. Look at how patient he is, and then he bails. This is so like this it right here to me is like galaxy brain quarterback play. This is galaxy brain quarterback play because he knows he has a free rusher. Like, he knows Javon Holland is coming. And you see how Javon cuts his angle so tight. And I think this is intentional by Brock by being patient because a lot of quarterbacks, they see it and they would freak out. They would go like they would bail instantly. But he's patient for just a second. And that second commits Holland to this angle and then he bails. That is intentional. And then you've got Jalen Phillips, first round draft pick, one of the most athletic freaks in this league. And he sidearms this thing, drops the shoulder, and whips it past Jalen for a dot to Brandon Ayuk. Again, remember last year in December, watching this back, like in the stadium, this didn't come across. Like, this didn't come across at all. But when I started to get into it and I started to realize how intentional all this stuff was, I started to freak out. I'm like, who who baits a safety coming off the edge on a free rush and makes him miss like that? And then rolls out to his right and drops a sidearm dart. I was like, okay. All right. Okay. I was like, this is where it gets interesting. And this play, again, for context, it's 4th and 4. They're on the 39 heading in. So it was an interception. Definitely wasn't one of his better throws. But again, I don't mind the process of it. He still had yet again another free rusher barreling down on him. Look at where the ball is in relation to the release. So, I mean, this is difficult throw. Ideally, you want to push this ball probably in between the sideline and the defender. I would imagine that because he had to rush this thing, wasn't able to get into the whole throw like he would want to. And this is exactly the point. It's basically a punt. It actually worked. It's basically a punt. Um, so I didn't mind it. Is it the best throw? No, but I think there's reasons why it's probably not the most ideal throw because I mean, look at this. Look at where the ball is and look at where the defender is, man. Like that margin of error is crazy thin. Okay, we get a punt. We get an arm punt. So now it is still tied up. We've got basically a 3-minute drive heading into halftime. So we basically got a 3-minute drive heading into halftime. What is the rookie going to do? What is the rookie gonna do? So can he execute a scoring drive before the half? Okay, we get another wide receiver screen. Man, he gets that thing out fast. He really gets that thing out fast. He gets it in a spot where Debo can make a guy miss. And again, this it definitely looks like Debo, right, makes this play. Definitely looks like Debo makes this play, but you gotta get that thing on him. Like, that's the quarterback's responsibility here. You gotta get this thing on him in a hurry so he can make him miss, and this is where Jimmy struggled. Jimmy struggled with these throws because he wasn't always accurate with them. They were either by his knees, they were too in front, they were too high, and, like, Purdy just puts it on him. Just puts it on him. I've got 2 versions. So if you wanna see the film breakdown of Trey, you have to go into my lives. So it's a live film breakdown just like we're doing. I posted one where it's all his just plays, no breakdown. Then we did a live breakdown like we're doing now. So if you wanna watch Trey's breakdown against the Bears, you gotta go into the live tab, and then you'll be able to scroll down and you'll be able to see, the just like we're doing right now. It's just a live breakdown of Trey if you're looking for it. Okay, what do we got here? Play action, boot, instant pressure. Just impressive to be able to get that ball out of bounds. Uh, to be honest, because he's got to straight up put on the brakes because six is there. He shows ball for pump fake. Six doesn't bite. I think this is Melvin Ingram. So a wily vet goes pump fake. Doesn't Melvin doesn't buy it. He's got to try to slip, reset. I mean, the fact that this guy made this ball out of bounds like this doesn't count for anything, but he avoided a sack on second down after getting absolutely mugged. Again, I enjoy finding basically the nuance. Like no one's gonna look at that play and be like, "Oh, that was a good play." But in all reality, on a drive where you're trying to score and you have a rookie and you're not trying to take a 10-yard sack, that's hard, man. You got dolphins all over you, man. I like it. Okay, you set it up. You got a 2nd and 8. You live to play another down. All right. So just like we saw earlier, more nuance, more small nuance that makes this play successful. Watch his little squat he does. Squat. See that? Watch his little huh. Watch the pause. Do you know why he's pausing? Watch 43. 43's eyes are dead on Purdy. Watch his reaction to the squat little thing he does. The little the little hezzy, the little going into his throwing motion. Psych. Right off your back shoulder, pal. Again. Rookie. First game. What am I watching here? I was like, I'm not sure. I've seen Jimmy do this. Jimmy's probably done it a handful of times, but I'm like, I've already seen Brock do this like 6 times. And it's not even halftime yet. It was crazy. But watch it from this angle. And watch the route concept develop between Ayuk and CMC. So Ayuk is basically turning into the bait here because when he starts what looks like his throwing motion, it pulls 43 into this zone because this is where Brock is eyes on, and it looks like he's going to throw into this window. So because he does that, it pulls 43 out, and then he's able to come back across to CMC. And that is the difference. Like, and playing like the really small nuances of playing quarterback at a high level. You're not even going to catch this in real time. I didn't catch this in real time. But when you watch it back, like that hand off the ball, squatting, you can see the front legs start to raise, and then you see him pause. That is all to keep 43 in that zone where Ayuk is, and then he comes across his body to CMC. Rookie. First down. 2-minute drill. Ball still alive. Okay. Was it a crazy throw? No, it wasn't. But the process was phenomenal. The process in getting from A to B for Brock Purdy is fantastic. And I think these are the small things that make the 49ers feel pretty confident in him. And I think this next sequence too also speaks to kind of what Brock could be, because this is an overthrow. It's the correct read, but it is not a good throw. Ayuk is wide open. The process is correct in regards to what he's looking to do, but he overthrows it. It's not a good throw. Got to put a little more air on that thing. If it's not going straight to Ayuk, got to put a little more air on that thing so Ayuk could run under that. Not a good throw. Right idea, right process. Just overshot it. He knew it. He missed it. Look at the body language. Hands on his hips. Head down. Dang it. Missed one. All right. It happens. How do you respond? Because that was a first down. The drive continues. It's now 3rd and 10, and you have 1 minute and 19 seconds left. That was a big missed opportunity from Brock right there. Big missed opportunity. Kyle's probably pulling his hair out. Like, I schemed it up. Ayuk was there. You missed him. You missed him. Come on, Brock. How are you going to respond? Brock Purdy responds with one of the craziest plays and throws that I've seen from a quarterback in a while. Like, what? It's 3rd and 10. If you don't get a first down, the drive stalls out. You're punting. No points. Again, we've talked about this before. Look at the line of scrimmage. This is hard on a quarterback, man. You've got one. Let's do numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 possible rushers on the line of scrimmage against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and CMC's your 6th option. So you're still outnumbered. Just like we talked about before on this particular play, is almost the same as the last Javon Holland when he got free. They're sliding protection to our right. See how everyone is crashing down? Even McGlinchey is crashing down. They drop back yet again, 98-92, which creates a numbers problem. A huge numbers problem. See, Mike has to block down on this. He has to. He has to take 45 because the quickest threat to the quarterback is through your interior. So if you have to choose between outside guy and inside guy, you're going inside guy 100% of the time. So Mike does what he's supposed to do based on the protection, based on the look, and everything that's what's called for. But again, we are talking about this before. Defensive coordinator, this is another win for dialing up, taking advantage of the 49ers protection and scheming up. Probably the best looking free rush you're ever going to get, because Jalen doesn't even have to go around Mike. Mike has to vacate his spacing to get 45, which gives Jalen literally a direct rush. For Brock to be able to, one, have his eyes to the left, swing back around with Jalen in his face, push back just enough off his back foot to elevate and get this ball off, just to get the ball off, is impressive. Just to find the correct read in this situation is pretty impressive. But then throw on the fact that it's a perfect ball on 3rd down in a high-pressure situation with the free rusher barreling down on you, one of the most athletic edge rushers in the NFL in Jalen Phillips, to be able to layer it over number 98. Again, because if you throw this on a line drive, he's picking that probably, or at least getting his hand on it. The complexity of this is like what? Beautiful. One of my all-time favorite Brock Purdy throws. All time. Because again, remember last year at this point, my brain is exploding. Because the context is he's Mr. Irrelevant. The context is that the entire NFL basically said, we don't think you can play quarterback at this level. That looks like a guy who can play quarterback at this level, does it not? Does it not? And this is why my mind was exploding. I'm like, what? He just completed that? He just kept the drive alive? And again, remember the context. This boy, Brock, just sailed an easy like 30-yard completion. Just sailed it. Kyle's yelling at him, probably death staring him from the sideline, probably chirped him a little bit in the headpiece. And how do you respond? How do you respond to these situations? Crazy. This to me right here is better than any 50-yard bomb down the seam. This to me is better than any unloading a 62-yard pass, dropping it in the bread basket type throw. Like this, the complexities involved here, the processing involved here, the timing involved here, the skill it takes to drop back, create enough space to get the throw off, layer it, and put it on the money. This is harder than any three-step, plant your foot, let the thing rip 60 yards downfield. That is harder than any type of those throws. And I don't think you can really argue that. I really don't. Because I know right now the big narrative that like people are going back and forth like that I've seen is like, oh, he doesn't have that like arm strength. And again, I think we all agree that arm strength isn't the end all be all for a quarterback. But it's like, I will take this day in and day out over this like insane arm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will take this day in and day out because there's so much complexity here to be able to complete that throw that perfectly under those set of circumstances, not considering the fact that he is a rookie thrown into the fire. They're throwing zero blitz after zero blitz after zero blitz, and he starts picking them apart. And again, they do it again. They bring the house. I think the process is correct. I think him finding Jennings is correct. It's not the most accurate ball, right? He gets it out a little too in front of him. But this comes with the territory, man. This comes with the territory. These guys are still learning timing. They're still learning these nuances of how are you going to run this route? Where are you breaking this off? How flat are you getting? And you do have to see that Purdy does have to adjust his arm angle a bit because he's got to whip this around 45. So we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Hey, chat legend. Shout out Debbie. Smash that like. Smash that like button. Smash it. Do what it do. Ooh, we're an hour in. Let's go. I'm on no time limit. I got no time limit today. I'm taking my time. Again, we got OTAs today, but it's not open to the media. So I'm vibing. We're just letting the tape speak to us. Letting the tape roll. Again, right now it's narrative versus narrative. And I understand points on both sides. Like, listen, I can find rationale in like both things that are being said. But at the end of the day, it's like for me personally, I've said it before, like, and I keep saying it. I'm just unfortunately not a big stats guy. Like, and I say unfortunately because I really do think that kind of like my ADHD like brain just doesn't process numbers very well. But what my mind does process well is visual. So for me, I just rely on like what the tape is saying. And again, I don't know everything that they're designing. I don't know everything that they're trying to execute. I don't know what's ad libbed. I don't know what's off schedule, et cetera, et cetera. But I can still at least see and then be able to discern if I think something is an issue or it's maybe being made out to be more than it is, et cetera, if that makes sense. If that makes sense. So on this particular play, again, just missed Jennings. They get him on the move. They move the pocket. Nice little throw on the run. Gets it to Jennings. Third and Jawan does the rest. So good stuff by third and Jawan. Again, I think that was a third down, maybe? Nope, second and 10. Miss Jennings on a very similar concept. They hit him yet again. You get a good block by Kittle. Look at that block by Kittle. Good job by Kittle, man. Kittle always selling out. Always. Okay, so again, this drive could have stalled like 6 different times, it feels like. It just feels like there were multiple occasions where this thing could have went south really fast. But even when Brock made mistakes or Brock wasn't totally on point, he comes back and he corrects it. He he's able to get it back on track. And that to me is a phenomenal quality in a quarterback because not everything's going to be perfect. Like, like it's just the way it is, man. Like things are going to be ugly, things aren't going to go your way. You're going to lose on a protection and it's going to put you in a bad spot, but it's like how do you respond? How do you rebound from those types of things? Like this one, we get a penalty on a slant. Um This one's high, but I can pretty much I definitely understand why this one's high. But again, these cornerbacks are getting there early and creating contact early. So as a result, it's helping extend drives. And again, the reason why I say I know why this one's high, this is why it's the pass is high. Yet again, the Dolphins have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, the whole purpose of why they're like aligned like this is they're daring Brock Purdy to beat them with his arm and his processing. That's what they're doing. The defensive coordinator said, "All right, Mr. Irrelevant, let's see what you can do when we throw the house at you." And what surprise, surprise, we got a free rusher. Look at Javon Holland, bro. Like the fact that this thing even makes it through is insane. And he has to rise. So again, he has to go over the top to even give it a shot. That's why it's high. Because he can't obviously throw through Javon Holland. And so it goes a little high on him, but they get the penalty. So just on this drive alone, they've sent the house, I think 3 or 4 separate times. And Brock has been able to manage it for the most part. Again, people will the screen game somehow becomes like the screen game for Brock, when I hear it discussed, sometimes it almost comes across like it it's a non-quarterback play, like the quarterback has 0 responsibility in it because it's all CMC, it's all Debo, it's all these guys. Like, I just really don't think a lot of people, when they talk about the screen game, understand, like, there isn't a very important role. The ball has to get to these guys, and it's gotta get there fast, and it's gotta get there accurate, and that is the timing that is created that allows screens to work, and that starts with the quarterback. Catch, step, sling, right past Jalen Phillips, hit CMC square in the chest, allows him to start his motion upfield. Kittle gets a beautiful block. Then you got everyone out there. You've got you got Trent, you got Banks, you got Brendel working up. Jennings, man, Jennings was so close. So close. If Jennings just sits it down, right? Obviously, Jennings doesn't have eyes in the back of his head. So he's kind of trying to react to the defender. But if he just turned into a wall and just kind of made sure his behind was on this side of the defender, he gets a piece of that cornerback. This is a touchdown because Trent, that 21 is not getting through Trent. If Jennings was able just to kind of sit it down right here, just kind of pivot and maintain that spot. And again, easier said than done. That's a touchdown. And it is a great throw. Is it crazy complex? Is it a deep throw? No. But it's a whip, and you need it on these types of quick hitting plays because look at the timing off of it. Bang, blocking to the races. And he's slower. Jalen could get there. If this thing was on the back shoulder, maybe that changes things in the relation of where the defense and the blockers are. So again, people don't give Brock Purdy any credit for his screen game, but his screen game is phenomenal. It really is. And it really sets up his offense well to work off of it. And so again, this is the drive that I think really like made me sit back and be like, what the frick are we watching? This is the drive that like really just I was like, oh, because we got a little bit of it all, man. We got some misses, but the way he's able to rebound and hit, and then how he's able to hit in the different ways that he was able to do it. Like, this is probably his best throw, arguably of the day, and it's incomplete. It's incomplete. The complexity involved on this particular throw is insane because you have to know what the defense is doing. You have to know the spacing of the defense. You have to know the timing of your routes. You have to know so many different things. And this is all set up because of the way that he manipulates the defense with his eyes. CMC drops it. CMC drops it. So look at the eyes. So him looking to the left is going to pull 45 out, right? So watch 45 and watch the way he reacts to the eyes. So 45 is going to step to his left and match what Purdy is looking at. Purdy comes back and he is kind of looking as I'm going to show this angle. So you got Ayuk here, right? So Ayuk sits it down and he kind of looks at Ayuk. And because he looks at Ayuk, look at what 2 does. Because he's staring down Ayuk, 2 pulls himself out of the hole, out of the zone, and Purdy clearly knows this. And right as CMC begins to clear, he sets and he throws right in between all of them. It's like a hot knife through butter. And the thing that I love about this is that this is Purdy's doing. Purdy created this spacing by the way he was holding the linebacker, both linebackers with his eyes. Watch the safety. The safety bites on Purdy coming back around to Ayuk, and it creates the hole. And he finds the lane, and whoosh. I think this is perfect ball placement by putting it on the back shoulder. Watch this ball just look at how perfect this thing cuts through. And then you put it on the back shoulder to pull McCaffrey away from the linebacker. He just dropped it, man. This is probably one of the best throws from this game. It's probably one of the best throws in the entire process from Brock Purdy on the season was this. And look at CMC. CMC's not mad. He's not mad at Brock. He's not mad at Brock at all. He is mad that he just dropped it because that was perfect. Beautiful freaking dart. And again, it's the process. The pre-snap, post-snap, eye manipulation, just everything. It's the process. You can't boil down quarterbacks to singular traits. You just can't. That's why I can understand some of the conversations from either perspective, but you have to talk about the quarterback position for everything that it is. It is so much more than can you throw the football 70 yards? It's so much more than are you just a good processor or do you have a capable enough arm? I mean, touchdown. Touchdown. Beautiful. Someone said Debo is open. Debo is open. Are you talking about this play? Wait, where is it? Why can't I find? There we go. I was going the wrong way. Someone said Debo's open. Oh yeah, Debo's open, but there's no shot in like for Brock to go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, Debo's probably the fifth read here. Like I really don't think Brock is looking to the right because he's going right. I think he's looking right because he's moving the linebacker so that he can come back left. I think what he wanted the whole time was this Texas or choice route from CMC. And he got it. And he set it up perfectly. And it should have been a touchdown. Yes, Debo was open. But by the time that Brock goes Ayuk, CMC, Kittle, Jennings, Debo, because again, you have to pay attention to the progression and where he's trying to get the ball. Debo's not the primary. He's not the primary here. And that is a very difficult throw. And there's a reason why X is off. Because look at where Purdy is playing, look at where his eyes are, and look at why X doesn't stay with Debo. Xavier comes off Debo because Debo is not a threat at this point. Right here, Debo is not a threat. That's why Debo is open. Because X knows for Brock to bring his head back around and have to throw over him, he's in great position right here to make a play on the ball. So I don't think Debo is ever considered here. And the reason why he's open is because X knows that he's not a part. He's not he's not a part of the progression. He's not the initial read. So that's why it looks like he's open. That makes sense. All right, but we get some more. What do we get? Ayuk could have been open on this one too, but I think the smarter play was to get it to CMC. Kittle, this is looks to me to be a definitely designed play to CMC yet again, because Kittle comes off, like he's blocking, like not really blocking. He's just like, I'm gonna run a little hook route, but he's really just obstructing this linebacker to create space. You've got the safety over the top, and they're like passing Ayuk off, is what that looks like. And again, the safety knows he can pick up that ground pretty quickly, and Purdy just takes the open man. Touchdown. If they had better backers, who are we talking about? Anzalone's a pretty good backer. Bradley Chubb is a former first rounder. What's that saying? If something like if ifs were a fifth, we'd all be drunk, or something like that. Like, if what? Like, oh, if that was Ray Lewis, that would have been an interception. I could say that about anything. Like, those arguments to me that try to take away from what was actually completed are so useless and meaningless. It's just so rooted in just if they, if they had Patrick Willis, that would have been an interception. If that was, you know, Troy Polamalu, that would have been an interception. On the last play that CMC dropped, do you not understand? Never mind. Never mind. I already went through it. Nice little throw to Juice. More juice, please. Oh, yeah. We got another Purdy special. Because Wayne wasn't paying attention on the last CMC drop of how Purdy is able to hold linebackers with his eyes. Again, the theme is that Purdy is manipulating the defenses with his eyes. Watch 45. Watch Purdy's eyes. Purdy's eyes are to the far outside. What does 45 do? He goes from a straight drop back. Purdy gets eyes on him. Then he gets eyes to the outside. What does 45 do? 45 goes outside. What does Purdy do? We've seen two scenarios where Purdy holds 45 in the middle of the field so he could go outside. Now we are getting the opposite scenario where Purdy is pulling the linebacker out of the middle so that he can get the ball to the middle of the field. It doesn't matter who you are. If you are trying to read and react off the quarterback's eyes, that's why this is hard to stop, because what 45 is doing here is correct. You're trying to diagnose and read where this quarterback's eyes are so you can put yourself in position to make a play. But the quarterback is literally manipulating your keys against you. He is using what you are trained and taught to do against you so that he is taking what you've learned how to play the position and beat you with it. So yes, that is where the skill transfers from away from the linebacker to what Brock Purdy is doing. To be able to throw a dart because he's pulling 45 out of the zone with his eyes. And that's what makes these things that Brock is doing impressive. And I think some may be missing that point because people will look at this play at face value and be like, "Oh, yo, nice. It's a wide open throw over the middle, right? What's so impressive about that? It's a wide open throw over the middle. But why is it wide open? How did we get here? Because Brock is responsible for this and then being able to complete it. And he gets it right by yet again another defender. Dart. Paul said, pick this game for Purdy and the Chicago game for Lance. I assume you're saying that as if um, that was intentional to lift one up and tear down the other, I'm assuming. As I've already explained, I couldn't find the Texans tape. I have found it and located it, and we will, or excuse me, the Texans tape from 2021 for Lance. We found it. I got it, and we're going to break it down either this week or next week. And this is literally Brock Purdy's first game that he ever played, like real snaps in. But go off, King. You picked the people really out here trying to turn nothing into something. It's unbelievable, man. It'd be your own people too. Like I guarantee you he's a 49er fan, but he's like, "Oh, so you picked the first game of Trey Lance starting in 2022 and then you picked Brock's first game starting in the NFL ever?" Oh, biased agenda. Come on, man. You're better than that. Don't be one of those people, please. And obviously, if you were here from the beginning, you would have heard all of that. So I'm repeating myself, but it is what it is. So we got Brock. This one felt the pressure. Wilkins gets by everyone, gets by Banks, gets by CMC, and he bails. But Trent isn't doing anything wrong here. Trent's not doing anything wrong here. This is just, the fact of playing an offensive lineman. If your quarterback's going to run outside your block, then you're kind of on your own, which he was. So this is where, we saw Brock we got our first glimpse at like Brock being able to, escape and get out of the pocket a little bit. And, some like, oh, well, it's a little scary, you know, a little scary, but the context remains, man. This is Brock's first real playing time in the NFL. But I guess if I truly was running an agenda, I should have picked the last game he played, right? where he had the most experience and the most time playing under. Oh, I guess not that because that would be Philly. That would be a disaster. Uh, Cheers from Spain. Shout out Spain. We got Spain in the building. Let's go. Shout out to everyone watching. Appreciate y'all. Again, I'm taking my time. I am not rushing at all through this because, like I said, someone's even saying where the OTA updates. We got none. There's no media. There's no media OTAs. So we're not going to get anything today unless it's direct from the 49ers. So we're really not going to get anything OTA wise today unless the 49ers drop something. So I'm chilling. Um, I'm chilling right now. I'm taking my time working through this. If you've made it this far, grab a couple cookies for vibing out this long. And again, we are in the off season, so when we have like these little dead periods right now, and obviously it worked out perfectly because plenty of people are talking about the quarterback. So we decided to get into the tape. Trey Lance has 4 games to choose from. Brock Purdy has 8. So we're not working off the largest sample, right? Uh, so we're working where we can. Trey's best game was versus the Texans. Uh, and I like I said earlier, I got that tape. I found it. So we will watch that as well. But there's only 4 to choose from. Yeah, Mike says pick Lance versus Seattle in 22 and Purdy versus the Eagles. I guess that would be fair, right? And I agree. We're not really comparing either. Like we're not comparing. All we're doing is we are sitting back and we're letting the tape talk to us. That's it. I don't care. I don't care what the name is on the back of your jersey. What we're doing here is we're just sitting back and we're watching the tape talk. We're watching the tape. That's it. Good throw. Play action. I mean, you really have this is such a limited window throw. You look at X, man. X is all over him. And you can only put this ball in one spot, and Brock put it there. It, you talk about accuracy. Whew. And again, you can't lead Debo because you have Holland in the middle of the field closing that gap. So you got to put this on Debo. Literally any margin of error, a little high, a little low, a little behind, a little out front. This is probably an incomplete. So I agree. I agree with Justin. He's saying, it's against single high and you're going to the middle of the field. So you got middle field closed, right? So the middle field is closed here. And, it's a pretty rounded off slant. So it's not like Debo just like cooked X or anything. And so X is able to come down on this fast. It's I would say it's a pretty low percentage throw, especially off play action. But Purdy made it by being able to put it where it needed to be. And I know us 49er fans, man. I know us 49er fans, we know that suicide slant well. We are not immune to the suicide slant. We've seen that for a while. But I feel like considering that circumstances, I think Purdy did a good job there. And then we come back, we got another slant. We got Ayuk slant. Beautiful. Right through the offensive line. Shoop. Easy money. Easy money. I love so again, we talk about Purdy adjusting his arm angle to be able to facilitate throws, whether over offense or defensive linemen, or he finds the lane between them. And you see how he whips this? It's almost like he's intentionally going in between these guys. Someone said, look at the difference between Ayuk slant and Debo slant. Yeah, I mean, Ayuk really cut that thing off. Like he really actually tried to like I mean, it still wasn't like a crazy like he wasn't like setting up outside or anything, but he definitely was a lot sharper on that particular slant opposed to the way Debo just kind of just rounded it. So I think the difference is Ayuk helped create space by being able to cut this off quicker, and Debo kind of rounded it so it allowed X to like easily just kind of hug up on that one. All right, what do we got, Brocky? So this one I feel like could have been completed to do two different people. I feel like he's going CMC here, but Debo is obviously wide open. Trying to see why did he bail? Because Debo's pretty open right there, and who's he looking for? Ooh, I would have loved to see. I wonder if he was looking at Kittle here. I would have loved to see him take that shot at Kittle. So I think, like one of these, I think if we take like the current like narratives that we're hearing about Brock Purdy or like the back and forth, maybe if Brock was more comfortable with throwing the deep ball, maybe he takes a shot at Kittle, right? Like, because I say Kittle's in prime leverage right here. You have Kittle, you have literally this entire portion of the field. You just put this thing out over here. Kittle's already kind of got leverage on it. You kind of put it away from the defender and you just keep this stacked. Kittle probably goes out and makes that catch. It looks like he thought about it, like because that looks like where he's looking. It looks like he really thought about letting that thing go, but something about it he didn't like. So I think that's why he bailed because he was really intending to go for Kittle. So he didn't look beyond that, and I think he felt pressure. So he felt like Brunskill probably lost his leverage right here. So that guy flashes. Let's look at it from the other angle. So I think right here, boom. I think Brock feels this right there. Like again, it looks like he's staring down Kittle right here. Felt like he could have popped that thing out there. Didn't feel too comfortable about it. That's my interpretation of it. So he bails. Well, that was a nice little floater. Again, I think he's going to CMC. I don't know who he's going to be honest. I could be Debo. I don't know. I like again. That this is a fly on the wall conversation because I can't determine who he's really trying to throw it to. But both guys are there. I think Debo's the better option here. Still a nice throw on the run. Little whoop. Not bad. Not bad. Would have been I would have liked to see him let that thing rip though on Kittle. I felt like he had what he wanted. But maybe what is the score? 17-10. Maybe he didn't want to put the ball in a 50-50 situation. I would have taken that with what I have come to learn about Brock. I would have liked to see that. Ooh, I like this one. This was another good one from Brock, I thought. I think you can nitpick this one um in regards to his throw, but again, low snap, but the wherewithal to like still make it look like he's dropping back and then spin out. Football is so much about angles, and the way he is able to bait 45 to commit, obviously he has to go underneath CMC, but it still looks like Purdy's just dropping back and then bails out, and you can see that that really puts 45 in a bad spot. Even though this is a free rusher up the middle, bails out. If I don't love the ball placement, but if you can get this on the upfield shoulder, so his right CMC's R, I think, yeah, his right shoulder, opposite side shoulder, he's able to get the first down. But again, the circumstances that stand, free rusher up the middle, making that guy miss, running to his left. If he could have just got it to the outside shoulder, I think that would have been nice. Oh, look at that leg drive. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay. We're getting to that point. We're almost there. Let's see what else we got from Purdy. So this one looks like Debo kind of like he's like gonna sit it down right there, and I think it looks like Brock is expecting him to keep getting horizontal. So this just looks like not being on the same page totally because Debo doesn't jet out, and I think Purdy's expecting him to be a little bit further out, and so it like, again, you can imagine if Debo just cuts inside, so he kind of pulls up right there. If he just keeps cutting inside, you could definitely imagine how this hits him more in stride. So to me, that's just, working on timing. I don't think that was a bad throw. Another pretty solid screen pass. He had to really work to get this thing by Chubb. Doesn't turn into much of anything. let's see what else we got. It's 20-10, 2-score game. It is third quarter, rounding out the third quarter. Another free rusher completion. Look, 52. The C's open up. Purdy sees it, doesn't panic. CMC slant, puts it on him. Ooh, was that a fumble? Oh, they called that incomplete. Ooh. That looks like it could have been. That looks like it could have been almost a catch fumble. Still good throw. Free rusher yet again. Check down. Oof. That would have been a hard throw if he went for Kittle. I feel like Kittle's open enough. But again, it just feels like not wanting to force the ball and just take the check down. Because you can see Kittle does kind of come open a little bit and he pumps at it. Didn't love it. Ooh, that wasn't a good throw. This wasn't a good throw. Oh, he got stepped on low key. You can see he's trying to jump out of the way to not get stepped on by Banks. I think that affected his throw. I think because he's trying to jump, it pulled the ball out, like pulled it away. I think if he was able to step into this throw better, that would have been a completion. But it looks like because Banks was getting pushed back into him, he just kind of jumped out of the way and it changed the trajectory of the ball. Easy money. Nothing crazy there. Easy money. Nothing crazy there. Dart. Debo Dart. Whoo. Dart. Literally can only put it in one spot. Even helped pull Debo away from the number 28. Reset. And he was able to make some stuff after the catch. All right, we're getting to that point. We got a screen. Let CMC do the work. Let's a little layup throw. Nothing crazy there. What do we got? 3rd and 4. 3rd and 4. This looks like a throwaway because he's about to get sacked. Mike was not ready for the stunt at all. That's a throwaway. Yeah. It looks like a throwaway. Let's see what else we got. Layup type throw, easy money. Nothing crazy. 3rd and 1. Oh, this is the one. It's 3rd and 1 and he gets the first down, but you get eyes on Croft. That's a Croft touchdown right there if you can hit him. He's definitely locked in on Kittle and just getting the first down. Because you can see he doesn't get eyes on Croft. But yeah, Croft would have been housed. It's gonna happen. That's one where you definitely show that in the coach's room and be like, all right, be alert next time around. Oh, that was a big first down. I remember that. Great block by Juice. Still a close game all the way to the end. And then this was the nail in the coffin. Watch Trent. It's one of the best defensive linemen in the league with Christian Wilkins. Just makes him look like a silly little boy. Shout out Trent. Doesn't get enough love. Not enough respect for Trent Williams. All right. I think we're getting there. I think we're to the end pretty much. Oh, what do we get? We got a sack. What is this play? Fake pitch. Looks like whew. Yeah, that's a tough one. Take the sack. Don't turn it over. Looked like they wanted to get it to Juice. Ooh. That pitch to CMC would have been nice though. All right. 3rd and 21. Set up a field goal. And victory formation. So not bad. Not bad for Brock Purdy in his first game. Ooh, that was a long one. Almost 2 hours. That was a good one though. Definitely took our time on that one. But uh again, I think when you're looking at a quarterback with Kyle Shanahan's offense and like what Kyle can do and what Kyle can scheme and the weapons you have around him, Brock feels like a pretty good fit for that, right? Like it feels like Brock can, and that was his first game, and it wasn't perfect. He definitely made a handful of mistakes, um, but the base is there that I think you can build upon. So I think with Brock, I think the things that uh I think with Brock, he's shown he has a maturity that goes uh far beyond of a rookie. I also think he has this poise to him that goes far beyond being of what a rookie looks like. And I think those are the type of intangible things that go into playing quarterback that don't get discussed because how do you determine that? How you can't measure that. There's no like now well there's that S2 testing, right? The cognitive testing, the S2. So I think that's one of the things that people are now like using to be able to try to measure those types of intangible qualities. But again, those types of intangible qualities, those are going to show up on tape in very small ways. It's not going to be something that jumps out at you all the time. And I think with Brock, like that's where he's at. And again, he's not perfect. He's still a rookie. He's still learning, and he's going to get better at a lot of these things. But I think as a baseline, and why he was able to find so much success is because he can do the intangible things really well. Quality leader, quality processor, and for the most part takes care of the football. and he's got a good enough arm that he can put it for the most part where he wants, and with the timing that is also built in. So, and again, one of the things that's really cool about Brock is he creates throwing lanes for himself. And he, by holding guys with his eyes, all different types of things. So I would imagine Brock can get better. Like, I think the question that we need to like cross off the list is just like, can he come back from the UCL? Can he rebound from that? That's like, is he gonna lose his arms, the arm strength that he does have? Um, and we have a there's a guy in here. His name is Dink and Dunk Content Creator. Man, fans, oh, this is so funny, man. It's so funny. Some of the things that we talk about on here. Um, but again, letting the tape talk to us. Pretty good. Pretty good for his first start. Pretty good for his first go at it in the NFL. The real go at it. And we saw he was able to improve, he was able to get better. He had games where he wasn't that. He had some miscues. Like, I think in the Raiders game, he had some really good plays, but he also had some plays that I'm sure he would like to have back. But overall, man, I understand why the 49ers are confident in him. I understand why his teammates are confident in him. We just got to see how he bounces back. We just got to see how he bounces back. And for and like I said, we're going to bounce back and forth. So I'll do Trey Lance next. I'll do Trey Lance versus the Texans. So far, his best game as a pro, his second start. And we can do Trey Lance next, and we can just kind of bounce back and forth. And we'll let the tape speak to us, get us ready and juice for training camp. So when we get to training camp, we're fresh. We're ready to go. Shout out to everyone. I mean, if you stayed for the full 2 hours, you're a legend. Grab extra cookies on your way out. Grab a glass of milk on your way out. Just make sure that you get all the cookies if you stayed for the entire 2 hours of this. You're a legend. Appreciate you guys. First of all, appreciate all of you for tapping in on this one. And like I said, we're going to keep doing film breakdowns. The chat gets real spicy during these quarterback film breakdowns, but hey, what do you expect? We're just going to keep doing them. Why not? So that's what we got cooking. And of course, we'll react to anything that comes through. Media will be back in the building tomorrow. So we should have some OTA news and press conferences and clips and all that type of stuff tomorrow. I think that's the only day that they're available for OTAs. So today, like I said, I don't think we're going to get a whole lot. But nonetheless, we're going to keep talking 49ers. You know the vibes. Appreciate all you guys. I'm out of here. And we can do other film breakdowns. It doesn't just have to be quarterbacks. That's the beauty. We can do more defense. We can do more offensive line. We do more skill position stuff. Obviously, the skill positions we can look at while we're doing the quarterback. But we can definitely do other film breakdowns. Doesn't have to be exclusive to the quarterback because we'll get through that eventually. But shout out to you guys tapping in. Smash that like button on your way out. Y'all the best. Peace. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it.